Hey, yo, welcome to the QB School Show. Fired up, little Friday edition. Geeked up, been a hot minute. Let me know how I sound. Hit me with your favorite emoji. You kind of remember the drill. My man Todd, what's good? Good to see you in the chat. Has been a hot second. FFR, what's good? What's up? Ooh, let's see if I can get these things going. Hopefully they still work. Coming in hot. Little Friday edition. Why not, right? Cooper Schaefer. What's good? We got a little orange wit going today, a little CBC. I feel like I've showed this one to the group before. Man, plug in CBC. There you go. A little local, semi-local. I feel like they're kind of sold out, but what do I know? Eric, what's good?
Bruh.
All right, a little Friday edition. It is the season for people to be getting better. Summertime, 7-on-7 season. School feels like it's wrapping up just about everywhere. Conditioning, locked in. It's football season. So, Greg, greetings from the NO. Appreciate it. Good to see some familiar faces in here. Let's get it going right into it. I appreciate it for nobody who's hit the like button so far. Go ahead, smash that thing. Let me know that we're doing all right, locked in, ready to go. This is going to be short and sweet, not going to lie. A little Friday edition. Friday light, L-I-T-E, super light. So let's get this thing going. What do we got? See if I got some questions locked in here right out the gate. Griff talks football. Hey, JT, if the D-line is using a two-gap play style and you're trying to use inside zone, how do you counteract the two-gap play style? I mean, the first thing about when I think two-gap style, I think they got some dudes up front because it's not the easiest thing in the world for me to, to think that those guys are able to hand off or be able to handle two gaps in a combo situation, assuming that you're talking about the nose. It's hard for me to speak in general terms about the run game. I'm always thinking, where can we get as much movement as possible? And if they've got just an absolute warthog at nose and we can't get any sort of movement, even with two people with inside zone, well, then we're not going to do that. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody at the high school level of what I would consider, two gap shutdown inside zone. If that is an issue, most inside zone teams have some iteration of an outside play, whether it be pin and pull, whether it be outside wide zone, whether it be toss crack to get out there on the edge just to mix it up. But let me know if that's a serious problem wherever y'all are. Akashta Gupta. Sorry if I butchered that first name. What do you expect from Breeze as a broadcaster? This is something that I've never thought of. I'm sure he will be excellent. Seems like a super well-spoken guy, obviously very sharp, seems super personable. I don't know, I feel like Romo has set the bar kind of high as far as expectations for people coming right off the field into the booth. I've never done anything like it. I personally think it is very, very difficult. I think that, what's the nicest way to put this? I think Breeze, I don't know. I think Breeze has the potential to be very good. I think he's certainly sharp enough, quick enough to be able to do some of those things. Sometimes I feel like Romo just forgets that he's doing what he's doing and is just naturally himself, where I'm not sure Breeze, to me, has a little bit more of like, what's the right word? Like a politician vibe where he can kind of put up the facade. As opposed to, sometimes with Romo, I feel like he's just shouting at the TV, which is great, and I think why he resonates with people to a certain regard. I don't know. Let me know if you think one way or the other. I bet he's going to be pretty damn good. If I had to bet like which way on the pendulum he's going to probably be pretty sharp and pretty great at it. That's the thing about broadcasting. It's just like playing. There's always another round of people retiring, trying to take those jobs. It's a tough racket, man. Wow. Fantasyland football. Which rookie QB will be the most successful in their rookie year? I think everybody's going to bet whoever, Trey Lance, just because of where he's at, that situation. But, who knows? I'm just guessing. I think that the Jaguars and Jets are tougher situations. I think the Jaguars, to me, might have an opportunity to have like a little surge just with the, Urban Meyer effect before he starts to if it's going to work, it's going to work right away. As opposed to, I don't think, guys are going to take like 3 years to get to kind of the way that he interacts with people and what the vibe and culture that he usually brings with him. So I think that, Trevor might surprise some people right out the gate. I think the Bears are also a fascinating one for what it looks like. Justin Fields coming in, being really successful right away. I like Trey Lance, Justin Fields to kind of surge and have that kind of great rookie year. Gregor, you got me laughing. Thoughts on quarters match coverage? Is it? Yeah, I know a wonderful course that talks significant amount about both those things, quarters and match coverage, and different iterations of them. Dominic Papa, what breakdown do you think is the best to do pre-snap read? I have no idea what that means. I apologize. I'm assuming you mean like what pre-snap routine do you have? I've seen some people, in fact, I had someone recently tell me that they always looked left to right, back to left every time to not let the defense get a chance. And I was like, man, this guy's way smarter than I am, because I'm up there just trying to see as much as I can possibly see. I don't think that there's any significant tell from usually where a quarterback looks. The only thing that I've ever been slightly sensitive about is where I look last. Similar to I play the game with my kids, I Spy with my little human eye. That's what we call it. I don't know what the real game is, where you'll like find something and be like, I spy something purple, but wherever I'll look last will not be where the item is. Kind of similar to that with reads, where if I know I'm working this side, I might look over here pre-snap for right before the snap to not give a beat on where I'm going. But normally when I was playing, I was often under center, and I was just trying to see the safeties more than anything else, because most of the reads were tethered to, open or closed, man or zone, those types of things. Boom. Fantasy Football Roundtable. Is there any way we can contact you if we've subbed to your YouTube and Patreon? Yes, you can contact me through the Patreon. Ethan Chamberlain. NFC West. I mean, you think it's the toughest division? I don't know. I guess I don't think of it like that. I think if I was a young quarterback, I would definitely prefer to be in the NFC. I don't know. That's probably, I guess I don't think of it quite as much as the division anymore. Oh, Coach CY, you're hitting me in a sweet spot.
Nope.
See if I can. Hey, JT, how do you like to teach receivers to run curl routes on Hank? Oh my God, you hit me twice, bro.
Nope.
Boom. I'll hit you again. Boom.
Nope.
Not only do we not run curl routes, we do not run Hank specifically. We do run a curl, but it's more of a post curl, and it's really tethered off of a read. We want them to run post, and if they can't, then they can curl it at a certain depth. We don't really run a lot. We have a few for the inside slot receivers where they will turn inside, and we can turn inside on option routes. But very rarely, I'm saying that, I'm trying to think if there are times, there are in routes or basics that we allow them to find grass or find zones to settle up. But very rarely are we running, what looks like a vertical into what most people would call a curl or a hook. If ever. I've been many places that have done those. I like to tell people, I think of it as two different ways. One, really three. A curl to me is that you allow the wide receiver to find kind of the opening, so they can curl at different areas, different zones within a defense. A hook to me was always a vertical path, and then the path back was straight back to the quarterback. So you could really throw that with some anticipation. Like, as soon as I see his hips drop, I know he's coming out of it. I'm going to throw it right where he is, because he's going to run right back to me no matter what. And then a stop route across the league usually was a vertical stem, and then you come back down the stem. So you could kind of almost throw it like a back shoulder, and it turns into like a fadeaway hinge. And then some teams I was on ran hinges, which were mostly just comebacks where you turned inside. So long-winded way to tell you that we don't run a whole lot of hooks or curls. I actually got in a fun conversation with someone recently about, do you call it a curl or a hook? I call it neither. Ronnie's Crazy Adventures, what's good? Capea. See what you got here. What is the difference in the O-line center reads and the quarterback reads? The O-line center reads the vast majority of the time. I would say I've only been around a handful of centers that had anything to do with reading any type of safety type rotation. Now, some of the best were able to see that and get kind of clues on where they potentially get hots or overload pressures. But most interior offensive line center calls are going to be based on the front and or the second level players, the linebacker types, usually linebackers, nickels, 4 week potentially if they're really good, those types of things. And a quarterback reads, can mean a bunch of different things, whether it's in the pass pro world, it's the same as the O-line, or it can, in coverage wise, it's going to be DB centric in my mind. So usually O-line center is the front, the D-line linebackers, and the quarterback world, it's usually the DB types for the coverage, and then pressure is going to be the same as the offensive line. It's a good question. Oh, Eric, come on. Why not do both? I need a little dude for both. Should I go deep right off the bat, or should I wait? You should go deep if it's there, man, but don't force it. Those are my favorite ones. Craig. Oh, man. Peyton Manning says Zach Thomas is the most cerebral linebacker he faced. His defensive mental counterpart. I mean, did he really say that? I don't believe that. I don't think Betts would allow that to happen. Is there a defender you feel the same about whom you faced in your career? That's a good question, Greg R. I would say the closest person I ever had like those types of battles was in college with our strong safety, who's now actually the high school defense coordinator, coaches with us. He and I used to battle, and I mean, I used to cheat because I would know all the coverage codes and the coverage checks, and he would cheat too. So that's the thing about it. You play long enough in a system. I know I've told this before on this channel, but I reiterate it because I really do believe it. It might be different now because I think defensively they have headsets, but they still have to make calls and hand signals. Just about every stop I was ever at, especially as I got older in the league and got more comfortable learning quicker, I would learn the offense as quickly as I could, obviously, but then I wouldn't stop. I would keep learning, and I would really focus on the defensive calls, specifically in practice, because you end up going up against these guys, especially in training camp. If you're fighting for a job, those reps are critical. They're always critical. But it's pretty easy to play. It's definitely easier to play quarterback when you know the calls, whether you know the blitzes, you know the coverages, you know the checks versus empty, you know the checks versus condensed formations. Like, I make no bones about it. Like, I would learn those immediately. And, like a script, I'm assuming some people on this chat are coaches. Like a script always has kind of like the overall installation, usually like the theme of the day, whether it's like a pressure or coverage or whatever. Well, the quarterbacks all get the script. I'm going to look at what the defense is doing as well as what I'm doing. So those are just tricks of the trade. You're welcome. Dominic Papa, how do you tell who the mic is? That's a good question. I mean, on offense, it's almost always a quarterback. On defense, I think they have like a neon sticker that they put on the back because you're only allowed to have one on the field, which I never understood. Okay, I have a number of ideas about how to make sports better. Why not just have everybody have the mic? I don't understand. Just give everybody audio headset, especially on defense. Like, who cares if the linebacker has to reiterate the call? Just give everybody the headset. That would make the game faster, more fun. I don't know. I think some dinosaur people would get really upset that we would be losing the huddle, but the huddle's already gone. Just think it would make the game better. But it's usually a green sticker on the back, or it was back in the day. 314 skip to Malu. How do you feel about LJ being under center more instead of the pistol? I mean, I honestly think there's a place for all of it in the league. You know, I think at the lower levels of football, it's a little bit harder to go back and forth just because the center exchange takes a significant amount of investment and time. You got to do it every day. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I personally think it's much easier to play quarterback under center for the vast majority of things besides just getting the depth and the drop. For me, I always liked under center because you never take your eyes off the defense. Where in shotgun, you know, I do the little clap every time here. So it's like here, and then you have to look for the ball, right? Well, when you're under center, many quarterbacks look down, which is a massive pet peeve of mine. But if you're under center, you should be able to just, you know, continuously look the entire time. So I always preferred that. I think it's better in play action. I think most people would think it's better in play action. So I could see the benefits of it. But if someone's not comfortable doing it, then no, it doesn't matter. They need to do whatever the quarterback is most comfortable doing. Nick Kibbs.
Bruh.
No, bro.
Bruh.
No, I don't know. I always feel like the teams that have absolutely, you know, really, really poor expectations inevitably you know, find a way to exceed them because they're so low, but I think it would be difficult. Not just because of, I don't think necessarily because of Jalen Hurts. I just think of the overall roster of the Eagles compared to the rest of that division potentially being down. But, you know, the Giants, you know, I'd like to play the Giants twice a year, but. Ooh, Godzilla Man 1, 2, 3. How do you feel about the new number changes? I think it helps the D, so I'm for it. I think it helps the game just because it's better. Like, I think players like it, so I'm for it. I don't think it, like Tom Brady, you know, being upset that he can't tell who's who in the zoo, whatever. It doesn't mean any different. Like, it's kind of like high school now or college defense where, like, if a defensive lineman's wearing 5, he's probably pretty good. Like, you probably know who he is. You know, they're not giving the single digits to the guys who, you know, barely play. So I think it's almost like a non-story. I personally kind of like it, to be honest with you. I would love to see 0. I don't know if they're allowed to wear 0 yet, but it's coming. Man. See, there you go. Mick the dog knows even better, much better than I do. I had no idea that 2 people could get on there, but that makes sense. It's only a matter of time before it's everybody. The poor sideline Mike guy, though, man, it's going to be tough on him. Eric Wesson, how do you feel about Teddy Bridgewater? Who do they start, Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater? My answer is neither. No, I mean, at this point, I think everybody, unless Drew Lock just comes out and plays out of his mind and somehow plays so well that they can't replace him, I think that they're both Band-Aids at this point. And, you know, I was a little surprised that they didn't make a more significant kind of option, bring in a different option, but we'll see how it plays out. You know, if I could answer neither, I would. I like Teddy Bridgewater though. As far as just like a pro being able to go in there and win, I just think it's going to be a tough situation to be sustainable at that position in that setup right now for that franchise. Talkman, Clan Killa, 187. Tackman. Who's your favorite offensive coordinator? I don't know. I like a lot of guys. That's a good question. In the league, I'll be honest, I don't know if I could answer that. There's a significant number of guys that I like. I think probably, you know, the most fun offense to watch in the league is the Chiefs, but I don't know. Is that the coordinator or is that just the talent? You know, it's one of those things for me. It's like the chicken and the egg. Like, I think it's almost always the players. I can think that, yeah, we came up with a great play, but like if you don't have a dude to run it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't look great. Everybody's a baller on the whiteboard. David, how do I feel about Justin Fields? By the way, I love videos, man. Well, if you love my videos, you will probably know that I'm a big fan of Justin Fields. So I think I have like 6, 7 of them. So go back, check them out. B Gaming. With an aging QB like Big Ben and a questionable O-line, do the Steelers have any realistic hope of making a playoff push, even in a best case scenario? For sure. I think they do. Love Mike Tomlin. Was only around him for a hot minute when he was the defense coordinator for the Vikings. But obviously he's been doing it at a really high level for a really long time. I think if Big Ben stays healthy and they can find a way to kind of blend the ability for him to get the ball out of his hands so quickly, which he has been doing, with him having some sort of old, young Big Ben. You know what? And I think of Big Ben as like, a telephone pole or a redwood tree back there. Just people like bouncing off of him being able to make timely plays, big plays, and find that kind of, youth in his game and stay healthy and blend that with a stronger running game and just a better all-around ball from that organization. Yeah, for sure. I don't think you have to put constraints on them. I think, it's going to be a little bit, it's always difficult in that division. I feel like that division is tough, and it sure seems like it's even tougher now with the Browns kind of surging a little bit. So we'll see. Can Jason Garrett unlock the Giants offense? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I think I remain a little confused by the Daniel Jones situation. They've obviously invested at least for another year. It's, again, for the offense coordinators, it's like, you can only cook with what the ingredients you have. So, is it Jason Garrett? Is it, people staying healthy? Is it Daniel Jones? Is it all of the above? Right? Tough. All right, let's do a couple more here. Lock this thing in. Appreciate everybody hanging out. See if I got 1 or 2 hot minutes, and then we're into the weekend. Dominic Papa, do you think the backpedal drop back is effective? You know what, Dominic Papa, that is timely because we are doing our kind of quote-unquote quarterback school right now in the high school world, and we are experimenting with the back pedal. I used to love the back pedal when I was under center. I don't remember doing it quite as much in gun. I did a little bit more like shuffle, and if that makes sense, a little bit more of that as opposed to 1, 2, 3, like just under center. So a little bit more kind of like recessy in gun. I like the back pedal a lot for a few different reasons, mostly because it helps the vision and you're lined up to throw to the left. I also spent like a year really, really working on it, especially in off season, working on it, and really a season because I was a backup. I just kept that off season mentality when I was the backup. I tried to. So it takes a little bit of time to get used to it, but I love the vision element of it. I love being able to throw hot to the left, backing out because you're already lined up. It's just an easy flick. So it was a big effective tool for me. I think of guys like who does it really well. The UNC, I can't think of the offense coordinator, but Sam Howell, those guys, they look so smooth and relaxed when they pedal out. So we're experimenting with it. And really, at the end of the day, it's up to the quarterbacks if they're comfortable with it. But I think it can be a weapon to help kind of, as opposed to, dovetailing or turning to be lined up. You almost are lined up immediately. I know some people freak out that like you can tell where people are going or everybody on the defense knows where you're going. Maybe I just have never been around that great of a, defensive crew that, everybody knows you're going to the offensive left when the quarterback pedals out. All right, we got one more here. See if we can lock this thing in. See if I can catch one from a name I haven't recognized. Danny Cito. What defines a dynamic QB? And does systems make a difference in once-in-a-generation type guy? How does the position transitioning to the hybrid QBs? How does the position transitioning to the hybrid QBs? There's a lot in there. Let me see if I can see the first one. So what defines a dynamic quarterback? I would say it's a number of things. The first thing is probably what many people would classify as just like the twitch, or like the quickness. You know, twitch is such a kind of a clown term, but it does define like the quick twitch muscle, like being able to quickly accelerate, explosiveness, powerfulness. I think of explosiveness more than anything else. That to me, you know, creates space as quickly as possible, generates speed. To me is kind of that vibe about being a dynamic athlete, being kind of looking at the film and just popping off the film because you're the most explosive player on the field. That to me is a dynamic athlete. And when that player is playing quarterback, I think other traits come into play as well. Usually tethered to arm strength, just kind of a cannon, being able to rip fastballs, being able to rip balls down the field. I think when you are a dynamic athlete, you are also able to create more. So you're able to, if something's not there, add a structure, either run or kind of stay alive outside the pocket, eyes downfield, make big plays. Again, the field is stretched. The field is stretched because you can throw the ball farther, you can hold on to the ball longer, you're tough to tackle, you're a dynamic athlete. Those types of things for me all kind of go into those types of kind of the bucket of what it looks like to be a dynamic quarterback. That was a good one. All right, y'all. All right. That was fun. Thanks for hanging. A little Friday light edition. I'll see you back on the other side. Try to get back to Monday evenings at some point regularly. It's just tough. Schedules are all over the place. But I certainly appreciate the continued support. Think if I can think who's going to be next on the channel. Probably the ASU quarterback, Daniels. Trying to get some, what's the dude's name from Georgia? JT Daniels. Got a good first name. At some point, I need the All-22. If you have it, share it. And that's it. I sincerely appreciate the continued support for the channel. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for hanging.